Welcome to Salto del Gato's Gumshoe playlist. I'm your host, Marilia. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Now, y'all ready for a taste of the Leon family's flavorful journey from the heart of Mexico to the heart of the American dream? Come along, folks, because we're about to embark on a spicy ride through generations of hard work, tradition, and mouth-watering Tex-Mex cuisine. Picture this, amigos. Hailing from the charming towns of San Jose de la Paz down in Jalisco, Mexico way, exists a community of about 1,500 people. This is the ancestral home of the Leon family. In the 1970s, the Leons brought their rich heritage and vibrant flavors to the land of South Carolina. Now, I ain't just talking about a couple of restaurants. No, senor. We're talking over 100 of them spread like wildfire across the Carolinas and Georgia. Right in the center of this culinary empire stands Greg Leon. He's the head honcho, the patriarch. This hombre has single-handedly built up 8 restaurants, each one a testament to his passion and vision. But don't be fooled, folks. Those 8 joints are just the tip of the iceberg in this spicy empire the Leons have cooked up. From humble beginnings in small-town Mexico, these folks have held onto their roots and honored the traditions that shaped them. They've weathered storms and conquered obstacles in a world where arranged marriages were as much about business as they were about love. With each union, they expanded their horizons, forging a network of restaurants that left a mark wherever they set up shop. In this tale, my friends, hard work and perseverance are just a few of the secret ingredients that have fueled their success. The Leons, with their culinary legacy, have tantalized even the pickiest of taste buds, leaving an indelible flavor in the restaurant industry. But it ain't just about the numbers and the business. No, sir. It's their passion for their Mexican heritage, their desire to share their vibrant legacy that's guided them every step of the way. So join me on this savory journey as we explore the Leon family spicy saga, where tradition and triumph dance together in every dish and every cherished moment. As we dive deeper into the story, it may not be apparent why we're discussing Mexican heritage and restaurant ownership on a true crime channel. Now, let's get to know some of the key characters involved, starting with Gregorio Leon himself. Greg Leon, the beloved patriarch of the Leon family, known for his strong connections to his generational birthplace back in Mexico. He was deeply committed to supporting his community both there and here in the Carolinas. In San Jose de la Paz, Mr. Leon's birthplace, he maintained a residence and generously financed the livelihoods of impoverished families. His restaurant chain in South Carolina, aptly named the San Jose's after his ancestral home, was a testament to his strong ties to his Mexican heritage. Within his South Carolina community, Mr. Leon was also renowned for his extensive support and engagement. He actively backed local Little League teams as he had 6 children of his own, and his restaurant's banners decorated the baseball fields they played in. He is also an active member of the Catholic Church in the area. Back in Mexico, his status was that of a revered figure, almost akin to royalty. Now, it's important to acknowledge that such deep connections don't always come without entanglements, and Mr. Leon's story is no exception. While we'll address the specifics of his involvement with cartels shortly, in the United States, he strategically positioned himself to wield influence in local politics, particularly through his alignment with the local sheriff. One notable aspect of Mr. Leon's operation was the employment of undocumented workers from his hometown in Mexico, whom he hired to work in his restaurants across the Carolinas. To circumvent potential immigration issues, his close relationship with the sheriff involved financial arrangements to prevent the prosecution of his workers. Unfortunately, this intricate web eventually unraveled, and Mr. Leon found himself entangled in legal troubles. However, through some legal maneuvering, he struck a deal with the government, becoming a state witness against the corrupt sheriff. As a result, The sheriff was incarcerated while Mr. Leon faced a misdemeanor charge for his involvement. Additionally, he had to plead guilty to knowingly hiring over 60 undocumented workers in his restaurants. Now, at the time of the upcoming crime we'll discuss here in a minute, Mr. Leon was on a 5-year probation term for the misdemeanor charge he received for his role in the sheriff and undocumented worker fiasco. Nonetheless, he managed to continue operating his 8 restaurants, seemingly carrying on with his business as usual within the boundaries of the law. Now let's introduce another character to the story. Meet Arturo Bravo, a 26-year-old Mexican man who has been living in the United States for several years without legal status. While his background and the circumstances of his arrival in the country are unclear, it's commonly assumed that many come seeking improved financial circumstances. Arturo, though unmarried, had been involved in a long-term relationship with a woman named Ruby. Ruby is a transgender woman deeply in love with Arturo, and they shared a home together. According to Ruby, their relationship was an open one, and she was well aware of Arturo seeing other women, often financially well off and sometimes married, who showered him with expensive gifts. Some might use terms like gigolo to describe this dynamic, although it's important to consider different perspectives and interpretations. Details about Ruby's personal life and potential arrangements with others are unknown. Now, here's where things get complicated. One of the women Arturo was involved with outside of his relationship with Ruby happened to be Maria Leon, Craig's wife of 26 years and the mother of his 6 children. It appears that Maria had been engaged in an affair with Arturo, and this liaison had been ongoing for several months. In this ever-connected world where digital debris and traces of our lives are scattered everywhere, it becomes harder to hide our actions. Our DNA is not the only thing we leave behind. Our digital footprints also reveal much about us. The boundaries of privacy are shifting, and secrets are harder to keep. Craig, growing suspicious, had a high-end tracking device installed in Maria's expensive Mercedes to monitor her movements over several months. On Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2016, Craig Leon, a perceived loving and dutiful husband, planned a special evening for his wife Maria. They went out for a romantic Valentine's dinner accompanied by another couple and possibly some of their children. The evening was filled with great food, wine, laughter, and drinks, following customary dining traditions. After the meal, the plan was for Maria to go home with the children, while Craig checked on their restaurants. However, Craig observed during the dinner that Maria's phone kept receiving distracting text messages. He didn't confront her at the time, but he activated the tracking device on his phone to monitor her actions once they departed ways. When Craig returned to his restaurant after the evening, he checked his phone and discovered that Maria's car had gone home to drop off the children, but then departed for another location not far from the restaurant. Craig followed the tracking device, which led him to a park-and-ride lot near the San Jose restaurant. There he found Maria's parked Mercedes next to a brand-new Toyota Tundra truck. Approaching the vehicle, Craig heard his wife scream. According to his account, reacting swiftly, he pulled out his concealed carry weapon, for which he had a permit due to his restaurant business, and approached the truck, where he discovered Maria in a compromising situation with Arturo Bravo, the young man. In a moment of intense emotion, Craig fired 4 shots. 2 missed and 2 struck Arturo, resulting in his tragic death. Arturo was found in the truck wearing only his socks. After the incident, Craig immediately left the parking lot, leaving a traumatized Maria scantily dressed and sitting in the truck. He then disposed of the weapon and contacted his attorneys, who advised him to call 911 and turn himself in. He followed their advice, surrendering to the authorities. This is the account, as told by Craig, about the events that unfolded on that fateful Valentine's Day. He claims he shot in self-defense when he heard his wife's screams, thinking she was being forced against her will. He is caught on security video footage pointing the gun and discharging it into the vehicle. It should be noted that no weapons were found in the truck or with the victim. The case involving Craig Leon has taken several twists and turns. After his arrest and initial court appearance, Craig hired renowned attorney Mr. Swirling to represent him, as his previous lawyers were unable to continue due to their own legal entanglements. The state has presented its case, and the defense is about to present its argument. Craig's defense strategy revolves around claiming that he feared for his life and his family's safety. He alleges that Arturo Bravo, the man involved with his wife Maria, had connections to a Mexican cartel called the Zetas, who had been threatening his family, although no clear reason behind these threats is given nor any evidence. Craig argues that Arturo forced Maria into a non-consensual relationship. However, text messages and other evidence contradict this narrative, showing a different picture of the relationship between Maria and Arturo. While awaiting trial, Craig manipulates the situation by having Maria reach out to Ruby, Arturo's former partner, with the aim of persuading her to testify in a way that supports Craig's claims. Maria engages in witness tampering, compromising herself further. If this is proven, Maria may find herself in legal trouble and possibly face extradition to Mexico. The outcome of the trial remains uncertain, and if Craig is convicted and his Mexican associates learn that Maria's actions contributed to his sentence, it may have severe consequences for her. The situation is complex, and the unfolding events will determine the fate of both Craig and Maria in this legal ordeal. All right, let's dive into the details of the romance between Maria and Arturo, capturing the essence of their relationship in this Tex-Mex world. Maria and Arturo's romance was a passionate dance of emotions and secret tryst. Through their exchanges of text messages and intimate moments, they painted a picture of a connection that went beyond mere infatuation. Their messages were filled with lovey-dovey expressions and emojis that spoke volumes about their deep affection. They embarked on trips together, exploring secret getaways from sun-kissed beaches to vibrant cityscapes. They created memories that whispered of stolen moments and clandestine encounters and stolen kisses. In their digital exchanges, emojis played a special role, speaking a language of their own. Hearts with arrow-pierced centers conveyed their affection for each other, while the flame emoji hinted at the fiery passion that burned between them. Blushing smiley faces and winking symbols added a touch of playfulness to their flirtatious conversations. Their shared moments were captured in photographs, frozen fragments of their hidden world. These visual mementos whispered their romantic story, capturing stolen fragments of time. But was it love? Maria seemed to think so, but Arturo, we will never know. According to Ruby, his partner of the last 4 years, Maria was merely one of the many women taken in by Arturo for financial gain. But amidst the backdrop of the romance, darker forces loomed. Craig Leon, Maria's husband, became increasingly angered by her actions. The truth behind her involvement became a smokescreen of deceit and betrayal as secrets were unearthed, and the consequences of her actions came crashing down on her lover, her husband, and her children. As the trial unfolds and the defense presents its case, the truth veiled behind the layers of text messages, emojis, and photographs will be brought to light, revealing the complexities of their affair and the consequences Craig must now face. In this clash of cultures, where Mexican fiefdom traditions intertwine with the realities of life in the United States, this story weaves a narrative of passion, danger, and the blurred lines of marriage, loyalty, and betrayal. The outcome of the trial will determine the fate of Craig and Maria, and the echoes of her illicit romance will linger forever, etched in the annals of this Tex-Mex saga. Now, we do not know what Maria's life with Craig was really like behind closed doors. Did he treat her well? Did he harm her? Did he in any way force her to do things against her will? Was he faithful to her? What drove her into the arms of another man? Will Maria speak up, or is she too afraid to cross those lines against her husband for fear of what the consequences might be? As we conclude, let's reflect on the numerous victims entangled in this complex web of deceit. Arturo Bravo, a young man who lost his life at the age of 26, remains a central victim. It is unfortunate that during the bond hearing, not a single member of his family spoke up to provide an impact statement. We can only speculate whether it was due to their private nature or hidden motivations, or perhaps they were intimidated into silence. Regardless, their silence raises questions about their stance on releasing the man responsible for their loved one's death. Other victims in this story include the family members who supported Craig and relied on the livelihood generated by his restaurants. And then there is the community of businesses that worked with Craig and financed many of his ventures. The loss of all his businesses would be a devastating economic blow to them. These families, regardless of their cultural background, have been impacted by the unfolding events. Let us not forget that deception and manipulation transcend cultural boundaries. Even in the Low Country, where a traditional, well-established white American family resided, we witnessed the tendrils of corruption and manipulation taking hold. Throughout this case, the legal system has been challenged and exposed to reveal its flaws and corruption. Whether in the Low Country or the Midlands of South Carolina, the actions of one individual have rippled through the collective, affecting everyone's lives, regardless of whether they deserve it or not. As we continue to follow this case, the outcome remains uncertain. However, it is conceivable this man will face a life sentence. Yet, in South Carolina, where judges are appointed for life by legislators, the potential for wicked deals behind closed doors exists, casting doubt on the true course of justice. Now, I do want to let you know something. So, at that bond hearing that Greg Leon appeared at, he had attorneys. Do you know who his attorneys were? They were not public defenders. His attorneys at that time, now this was back in 2016, were, yes, Dick Harpolitan and Eric Bland, because at that time, they weren't angry at each other. They're angry at each other now. But at that time, Dick and Eric represented Greg Leon. Now, this took place in 2016, and of course, Greg did come out on a $500,000 bond, but then COVID hit, and so this case, got delayed and delayed and delayed until now, where we're here at 2023, and it's come up on the docket. So, gracias for spending this time with me, mi gente. I'll continue to follow up on this case to see what the ultimate outcome will be, and I'll bring that to you in a future episode. Hasta luego. This is your host, Marilia, signing off.